Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio, and thanks for making Daily Dose Radio your New Year's resolution. 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, through the Psalms, verse by verse. That's what we're about. So I hope you'll join me today. We're looking at Psalm 143. We're going to read verses 10, 11, and 12. So if you have your Bible, pull it out and let's go ahead and read. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Lord, for thy name's sake. For thy righteousness' sake bring my soul out of trouble. And of thy mercy cut off mine enemies, and destroy all them that afflict my soul, for I am thy servant. Well, we have more here, don't we? More requests. You immediately see the teach me, the quicken me, destroy all those that afflict my soul. So we have more requests. And this has just been the characterization of the second half of this psalm. We had hear me speedily, cause me to hear, cause me to know, deliver me in verses 7 through 9. Now in 10, teach me to do thy will. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot in here that sounds so much like Psalm 119, doesn't it? Teach me to do your will is a plea that we heard several times in Psalm 119. We have it again here. Actually, the whole request for teach me was all over Psalm 119. That would be a great study just to go through Psalm 119 and pull out how many times the psalmist says, teach me, and study the context of each one of those places. Teach me to do thy will, for you are my God. So see, we've had him call out to the Lord at the beginning. It was a prayer of a penance. You know, he couldn't stand before God. Now he's asked for mercy. He's not standing before God based on his own righteousness, his own goodness, that he has none. So he comes before him, he says, so I'm going to stand before you based on your goodness and your faithfulness to the covenant that you've made. So have mercy upon me. Now he asks for teaching. He says, you're my God. So he makes this wonderful declaration of faith. And then the next phrase, thy spirit is good, lead me. Again, we go right back to Psalm 119. One of my favorite passages in Psalm 119 is Psalm 119:68. You are good, O Lord, and doest good. I love that passage. And that's what we have here again. Thy spirit is good. The goodness of God. We will never be done declaring and trying to understand the goodness of God. As the ages roll on, we will be trying to understand the goodness of the Lord. So wonderful. Lead me into the land of uprightness. So you see, again, he's penitent. He said, I've sinned, so I need you to cause me to hear your loving kindness, cause me to know the way in which I should walk, and I need you to lead me in the way of uprightness. He doesn't have an uprightness of his own, so he needs the Lord to lead him in that way. And then he says in verse 11, quicken me. Next, his next prayer, his next request. I didn't translate Psalm 143. Actually, I'm just reading from the King James. But if I were to translate that, I just about guarantee you I would translate that revive me. That's the idea of the word. To quicken means to make alive again or to revive from death. So he's asking the Lord for this spiritual work that only the Spirit of God can do. The Spirit is good. Your Spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me or revive me, make me alive again, O Lord, for your name's sake. Where have we heard that before? He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And here we have it again. Quicken me, O Lord, for thy name's sake. For the honor of your name, do this work. Because, remember, it's all about the Lord's glory, about him getting the glory. And then we come to the end here. For thy righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble. You see how it's for his name's sake, for his righteousness' sake, and again for his mercy in verse 12, and of thy mercy cut off my enemies. So he's depending on God's mercy, his goodness, his loving kindness, his righteousness, and the sake of his name to do this work. And he ends by saying, for I am thy servant. Can you say that today? Call on the Lord and ask Him to save you. Join me again next week. We'll look at Psalm 144 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.